Hi, I'm Charlotte, co-owner of interior design studio 63 London, and this is my London townhouse. Welcome to my home in Regents Park, where I live with my 3 kids and husband. My husband Joe actually bought this house over 10 years ago, and we never planned to live here originally, but after I interior designed the house, we fell in love with it and created our dream family home here. Let's start in the kitchen. The kitchen is the heart of any home, and designing a kitchen in central London can be a little bit more challenging with space restrictions. However, there was a few things that I knew I needed to have in my kitchen, and I'm going to show you how I fitted them all in. The property's a listed building. It was designed over 200 years ago by John Nash, a very famous architect who designed Buckingham Palace and most of Regent Street. You can see some of the beautiful features like the 3-meter high ceilings and also the original cornices. But again, a bit challenging with regards to the design because we can't put any spotlights in the ceiling, so it had to incorporate a lot of different layers of lighting and clever joinery design to work around them. I decided to divide this space into 2 halves as it was quite a long and more narrow room. This is the part where I cook and store all of the food, and this is the part where we dine. Top tips from an interior designer if you're designing your own kitchen is the work triangle. This is the space between the cooking appliances, the fridge and the sink, and it's really important to keep in mind for convenience whilst cooking and preparing food. My business partner Ginny actually selected this slab for me, and I absolutely love it. It's a quartzite, not marble, although it has such a beautiful grain, and I love that I managed to use a natural material that's also super durable. You could spill red wine on this, you can spill bolognese on this, any spices when I'm cooking. It's a really hard-working kitchen with 3 kids and a hungry husband to feed.
Has there been any spillages so far?
Yes, but you would never know. Look, it's spotless. It really doesn't stain, so I would highly recommend this quartzite material for kind of a balance between beauty and durability. In our projects for clients, we always design the kitchen ourselves in-house. Having a bespoke kitchen helps you to get so much more out of the space, and my kitchen's a really good example of that. In a smaller space, you have to use every inch of the space, and a good example of this is here above my hob. I built this cupboard to conceal the extractor fan over the hob, and I use it for storing oils and cooking items that I use whilst I'm cooking, but also items which I don't need every day. Here I concealed the actual hose, which is a bit ugly looking, behind this nice wood to match the kitchen, and it's actually doubled up as our house nut cupboard. One of my sons is really allergic to nuts, and it's much easier to keep him safe segregating them. The other 2 kids do need to eat them, so this is a really good way to store them away from him and also allow me to indulge in my peanut butter addiction in a safe way. Let's take a look in my pantry. As a mum of 3 with 2 businesses, being organised in the kitchen makes such a difference to my day-to-day life. I like to decant all of our foods into these glass containers, and I use different heights so that I can see and reach what's at the back. This is where all the kids' snacks are. I keep them out of reach, otherwise they help themselves to too many chocolates and biscuits. I wanted my home to feel luxurious, but also it was really important for it to be durable with 3 young kids. So for example, on these bar chairs, I've got a faux leather on the front which can be wiped really easily, and on the back I've got a high performance fabric which has stood the test of time against lots of mucky fingers, ketchup, bolognese, and as you can see it's still in perfect condition. I much prefer and find it far more useful having drawers than cupboards in the kitchen. It means they stay tidy and things don't get lost at the back. I've designed these drawers with larger ones on the bottom. I'm going to open them, but it might be quite messy. This is where we keep our children's things, our plates and everything we need for the table. Over here, I designed our cutlery drawer, and I really ummed and ahed between putting it close to the dishwasher and close to the table, but I'm really glad with the decision that I made. It's just really practical for every day, and if you've forgotten something, you can easily get it. I designed this table to fit the space, and I opted for a dark wood to contrast with the main wood, which is the light of the kitchen, and match the floor. And I designed this bespoke liquid metal edge on the outside of it and also on the base. Over here I've got some pendants which I've always loved and which you've probably seen used in quite a lot of our projects. They're from Bella Figura and I just absolutely love them. This wall over here was a really big blank white wall and I couldn't decide exactly what I wanted to do with the space. I opted for this beautiful painting with a lot of texture by Emily Swift-Jones, and I absolutely love how it complements all of the other colours in the room. It's so big, but it's not in your face. It just blends into the background and makes the perfect statement. I was adamant that I was going to have a breakfast bar coffee station in my kitchen, but with such a small space, I wasn't sure where exactly to put it. And then I decided this was the perfect spot. As you can see, the alcove here on the side of the original fireplace is not very deep. So I did this design. It's sort of like a T shape, if you can see. The stone here is inset in line with this, and then it comes out so that we got the full depth of a drawer. I use this to store my coffee pods, all of my coffee cups, and some bigger items on the bottom. I decided to take the stone that we've used on the worktop all the way up. It looks like it's in one continuous piece, but actually to install it, the slab was cut into individual pieces to make it less heavy and much easier to fit. And then the shelves were put on top. As this isn't a deep space, it wasn't the best place for extra storage, so I decided to use it for styling, and now it's become a showcase for our new online shop, as a lot of the products here are from 63 Styled. I probably shouldn't be showing this because it isn't launching for another month or so, but these are one of the pieces launching in our new collection. Really beautiful scalloped bowls. And they've got our logo, which just majorly excites me. Seeing it for the first time on our products has just been so exciting. So we've got the dinner plate and the side plate, and we're going to start with a bowl as well.
Luxury home film exclusive.
Yes, you saw it here first. Don't tell the others. This is a dining room. I didn't do too many changes in here, but I did add this paneling dado rail and also repainted to make it much brighter, as it's a bit of a smaller room and I wanted to create a feeling of space. In a dining room, I always like to have a long linear light, so I opted for this chandelier over the table, and then in the corner we've got this beautiful lamp which I've had for many years. It actually came with me from my old apartment. I just love that it's like an interesting talking point as well at dinner with the nice long tassel. You'll probably notice behind me the door that goes nowhere. So often in listed buildings you'll see this. This is an original door, as all the doors are in the house, and it's actually not allowed to be removed because it is a listed feature. So we had to close it up in order to accommodate our boot room at the back and utility room. So now it's just a door that can't open, but part of the beautiful heritage of this lovely property. This is our entrance hall. As you can see, it isn't the biggest space, and often in central London houses, especially townhouses, the entrance can be quite small. There's a few things which are really nice to have in the entrance hall of a house. One is a bench, a cupboard to store your coats when you come in, and also a surface where you can keep keys, a box to keep things in. And in this tiny space, I managed to achieve all three. Just down these stairs behind me leads to our utility rooms, and then there's another floor downstairs in the basement with 2 additional bedrooms and 2 additional bathrooms, as well as a wine cellar. As it's a 6-bedroom house and we don't need all of the rooms, I decided to make one of the bedrooms in the basement into our kids' playroom. Let's go upstairs and take a look at the living area. On the half landing is our guest toilet. Originally that was the cloakroom, but I turned it into a guest toilet and also a place for us to keep storage behind the door. Let's go into the living room. And one of the comments I always get from friends and family is, how can I keep it looking so nice with 3 young kids and all these fancy furnishings? It was really important to me when I interior designed our house that none of the rooms would be off limits for the kids. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll often see on the weekends my kids making dens under this coffee table, using the blankets and accessories, and I always feel relaxed about it. I just move a few of the fragile things off of the table and let them get on with it, knowing that we've chosen performance fabrics and furnishings which are built to last. For the most part, it's an absolute privilege to live in a listed building designed by such a renowned architect. However, it does come with its challenges on the interior side. So again, these beautiful tall ceilings with the listed cornice means that you cannot put any spotlights into the ceiling, which means with the lighting design you have to be very clever creating different layers of lighting. And you'll probably see I have the chandelier here in the center, table lamps on the table, lighting in the joinery. There's a lot of different ways that we light up this room and make sure that it doesn't feel dark in the evenings. Whilst I was renovating, we realised that the original fireplace had actually been replaced by the previous owner with a replica. So we had to decide what we wanted to put here. And as you can see, I've designed this marble fireplace with marble herringbone tiles inside. The fireplace serves as the focal point in the room and what we centered all of the furniture on, but getting the layout in this room wasn't as simple as it looks now. The alcoves either side of the original fireplace are not only very narrow, but also completely different sizes. You probably didn't notice, as the design I chose was asymmetric, where the shelves are all different shapes and sizes to draw the eye away from the fact that they weren't the same size. This little trolley came with me as well from my old apartment. I like to buy things I love that I can use again, and this is one of them. I just love the antique nature of it and how it brings a more traditional vibe to the more contemporary scheme and a little nod to the history of the house. When I first moved into the house, this first floor landing was completely bare. As you can see, I added a chandelier. We have this beautiful table from my mother and father-in-law that we've placed on a lovely round stark rug, and this tall arrangement with some eucalyptus from our shop just really elevated the interior design of this otherwise unused space. This is our casual TV room where the kids love to hang out after school and relax. I chose a vinyl wallpaper for the wall so that it would be really durable, and as we go upstairs you'll see this is a choice I made in all of my kids' rooms too. This sofa actually came with me from my old apartment. It was lucky it fit perfectly inside the room. I was planning to reupholster it, but haven't actually got around to it yet. I think, isn't there a saying about cobbler and shoes? This is the principal bedroom. Originally, our existing ensuite bathroom was a walk-in wardrobe, and our daughter's bedroom was the bathroom for this floor. So the entire floor was the principal suite, but I felt it was a little oversized for the size of the house, and having an extra double bedroom on this floor would really make it a much better layout. Here you can see I designed a bespoke headboard. It's got these beautiful wallpaper panels either side. I didn't go for a vinyl wallpaper here. This is the real deal because it's mine and my husband's room, and also being behind a table and the lamp, it doesn't get mucky fingerprints on it. As this house does have tall ceilings, a lot of the items that I've used for styling and decorating are actually quite tall. Normal items that work well in a house with regular size ceilings don't work well in this house. They looked a bit dwarfed, so you'll see a lot of the items that we've used are tall. I think it's so nice to have somewhere to sit in the bedroom and also to be able to put down a jacket or something when you walk in. So I love to have this chair and little table next to it. I often have my coffee there in the morning. The wardrobes behind me were already here when I moved in, and it's so great for storage space to keep all of our clothes. This is the principal ensuite. It's quite a small space that used to be my husband's walk-in wardrobe. Took a little bit of convincing to explain to him that we actually should add a second double bedroom on this floor, and I think it's turned out really well. The brief he gave me was that it had to fit a shower, a bath, and a double sink vanity, and I think I nailed the brief. This is my daughter's bedroom. She wanted blossoms and butterflies, so I decided to use this vinyl wallpaper, which is really durable and can take anything. I got my friend Sarah, very talented artist, to paint all of these butterflies and the blossom that you see on the wallpaper either side of the bed. In all of my kids' rooms, you'll see the biggest bed possible that can fit in the room, and this is something that I always advise my clients. It helps the room to stand the test of time and grow with the child, and means that you don't have to update the design of the headboard in a few years' time as they get bigger and might want a bigger bed. And it's just really good if any of them wake up in the night or need you. Maybe that's just my own bad co-sleeping habits, but I also like to be able to settle them back to sleep in their own room, and find it works really well for us with 3 young kids. This is the nursery, and each of my 3 kids have actually slept in here. I first designed it when I was pregnant with Ella, and I didn't know the sex of the baby yet, so I kept it really neutral, and it's worked really well because I did go on to have 2 boys. As you can see, there's a little bit of an animal theme going on in this room. With our close proximity to London Zoo, I just thought it would be really sweet to incorporate an animal theme in the baby's nursery. This is my older son Theo's room. I actually gave him the choice whether or not he wanted to move into this room or stay in the nursery when I was pregnant with the baby, and he chose to move into this room because he found it more cozy. The joinery was existing when I moved in, so I worked around it and added again a small double bed because that's what could fit well in here. The wallpaper in here is a vinyl, again, typical little boy making lots of mess, and as you can see, even though it's light, it's washable and wipeable and has stayed very clean. Well, we've reached the end of the tour. I hope you've enjoyed looking around my home. I think I mentioned earlier that I never planned to be here for 10 years, but I'm finally ready to part with this beautiful property, and it is for sale. All of the details can be found below. Thank you so much, Luxury Home Show, for coming, and I'll look forward to seeing you at my next project. Bye for now.
Hi Luxury Home Show, I'm Sophie Patterson, I'm an interior designer and welcome to my home.